Trading the markets requires discipline, strategy, and finely honed skills. Traders are up against the best and brightest Wall Street has to offer. At TraderInsight.com, you can look over the shoulder of one of America's top traders. Join Dr. Adrian Manz and a cast of highly talented traders as they earn their living navigating the markets, one stock at a time, one trade at a time. TraderInsight.com. Strategy, discipline, results.
For TraderInsight.com, this is Adrian Manz, and this is Stocks and Sectors on the Radar for Tuesday, December 2nd, 2008. Well, no surprise here. I'm sure that everyone is well aware that Dow was down about 680 points on Monday on some pretty heavy volume, 1.635 billion shares on the NYSE, and advancers versus decliners was dismal. 357 advancers, 2,809 decliners. So once again, the internals stink. We got some bad news during the day. Fortunately, we were up in the middle of the Dow box. But in the middle of the day, someone let the cat out of the bag, and guess what, folks? We're in a recession. So that apparently came as some kind of news to everybody on the floor of the exchange. And before you knew it, all the insiders were selling like crazy, and we wound up with a massive, massive move to the downside. This was broad-based, happened across all the indices. We saw it in the S&P 500. We saw it in the NASDAQ 100, which is now perched again to take out the recent downside of its own box there. We also saw it in the NASDAQ Composite. Also looks ready to go down and retest those lows. So it was pretty broad-based, pretty much across the board. We saw a big move lower in oil and oil service today. I'm going to talk about a couple stocks that I'm going to watch there. And we, of course, saw the broker-dealers really get whacked as Goldman Sachs announced that, guess what? We're not in such great shape after all. There's probably going to be about a $2 billion loss when we report in a couple weeks here. So, albeit, many people have been saying Goldman is sort of the darling of Wall Street and is going to come out of this thing unscathed, and it does not look like that's going to be the case after all. So, for Tuesday's trading, I will be watching Goldman Sachs. I'm going to look for that stock to possibly break to the downside if we get some weakness. Right now, the Dow futures are up. But if the Dow futures come in again, we could see a move in Goldman all the way down to around $61 a share on broad-based weakness in the banks and brokers. I'm also going to watch along that line then Bank of America, which could see some downside action to right around $12 a share. Hard to believe that this one's trading as low as it is at all, since that was supposed to be the best of the best in the banking. And also, I'm going to be watching Morgan Stanley. Of course, that's the related stock here. And that one could see a move down to about $10 a share if broader weakness in the markets reexerts itself. Now, in the oils and oil services, I'm going to watch BJ Services Company. This one also here looks ready to retest recent lows. If it does, a move down to around $9.15 a share could be in order. We've also got Exxon Mobil. Now, Exxon's tied up in some moving average support and resistance here. It's right on the 20 and 50. So I'll be watching this one sort of later in the week. I want to see what it does tomorrow if it retests that 50-period moving average and gets down below it. The previous moves to the downside have been pretty violent when we got down under there and did so convincingly. So definitely going to keep an eye on it. Going to watch the New York Stock Exchange open book and look for any kind of order flow or irregularities to indicate that there might be a move in the making. And finally, I'm going to watch Potash Corporation. This one is nestled on support here and looks like it could break lower. If it does, you have to go back to a monthly chart here to really see the range that we may be talking about. But in any case, a move down to about $50 or 50 and a quarter or so. That's a big move for the stock if it decides to do it. It does not, however, represent a move any bigger than today's. Today it was down $5.17, so it seems entirely possible that the same thing could happen tomorrow if there is broader market weakness. Now, as I said, right now the futures are up. We'll see what happens in the morning. That was a pretty big sell-off, so we might see a little bit of a snapback rally on Tuesday. At this point, though, given the way the news is going, I'm not betting on it. Let's just see what happens. Let's see what the futures markets look like in the morning after the after the Asian markets come in overnight. So for TraderInsight.com, this is Adrian Manz, and have a good trading day on Tuesday.